Right, we are going to start with number 3 today. So notice that there is a pyramid sitting on top of a prism. So just like with volume, or very similarly to volume, we are going to find the surface area of both of our two solids. So the pyramid and the prism. So let's start with the pyramid. So remember, we're going to take the perimeter of our base, or I guess remember our formula is right here. So P L plus 2B all over 2. So let's take the perimeter of our base. So we see that we have a very key word here, a square base. So if one of the sides is 48 centimeters, then they all are 48 centimeters. So our perimeter is going to be equal to 48 times 4, since there's 4 sides that are that, or 48 plus 48 plus 48 plus 48. We get 192. Our lateral height, or the height of our face, is going to be 25 centimeters. That's given to us. We don't have to do any type of Pythag to find the height of the pyramid yet. And then the area of the base, well, once again, remember the base is a square, so that will just be 48 times 48, which gives us an answer of 2304. All right, perfect. And now that we have that information, we can find the surface area of the pyramid. So, surface area equals 192 times 25 plus 2 times 2304 all over 2. See if you can finish the problem on surface area from here. Go ahead and pause that video. All right, that leaves us with 4,704 centimeters squared. Go ahead and follow my work there if you have any questions. So then we need to find so that would be for the pyramid. And now we need to find the surface area of the prism. I will do that over here. So for this, we still need all the other stuff. So we need our perimeter of the base. Once again, we're dealing with the same exact base. So we know that's going to be 192, since that's what it was for the pyramid. Then I need the height of the prism. So this is H. The height of the prism is going to be this 18 centimeters. And then we need the area of the base. Once again, exact same as the base of our pyramid. They're sitting on top of each other. So 2304. So once you do work for one, it does get a lot easier for the other one as well. So now we plug it into our formula. And this formula for surface area is going to be the 192, so perimeter of the base, times the height of the base, plus 2 times the area of the base. So once again, very similar formula. The only difference is that we swap the H for the L, and that there's no divided by 2 on here. And that's why I prefer this formula, since it is so similar to the other one. So go ahead, solve this one, pause the video if you need to, and see if you get the correct answer. All right, so we do get a surface area of 8,064. And typically, or at least when we did this with the volume, we stopped here. But think about what surface area is. Remember, surface area is the wrapping paper that you put around a box, right? It's the area of all of the surfaces, right? Math people, not creative. So if you look at our pyramid and our prism there, you'll see that part of our surface area is not actually part of the surface. And what I'm getting at is the base of the pyramid, right? The base of the pyramid is not actually exposed, right? We wouldn't put wrapping paper on that because it's all one connected shape. So therefore, we have this base of our pyramid that's not actually part of our surface. The same thing is true for the prism, right? The top of that prism is not actually part of the surface. And I know that's a little bit complicated, but if you think about if you take two objects and you put them together, the part that's touching is no longer part of the surface, right? You can't see it or touch the part of the surface. So what we want to do is we want to take our two answers and we want to put them together. So 4704. And then we want to add that to our surface area of the prism, plus 8,064. But then we want to subtract that area of the base, which was 2304. And we want to subtract it once for the prism, and we want to subtract it once for the pyramid, because that base is part of both of those shapes, but is not part of the surface. So then when I add and subtract these two numbers, this is going to give me my total surface area. So then our answer is going to equal 8160. And actually I'll write it over here. Surface area equals 8,160 centimeters squared. So feel free to pop in the chat if you have questions about why we subtracted the 2304. But once again, find two objects in your house, set them on top of each other, and you'll see that the bottom is the bottom of the top shape, the top of the bottom shape, I'm sure that makes a lot of sense, doesn't actually, is part of the surface. All right, so then we do have this last question, number 4 here. I am going to erase this, this little part here, but I'll keep the answer and I'll keep the work. So number 4, find the height of a cone with a radius of 8 centimeters and a surface area of 216.66 squared centimeters. All right, this has a little bit of two parts to it. So if I use my surface area formula, surface area equals perimeter times lateral height plus 2 times the area of the base over 2. And let's plug in what we know. So we know our surface area is 216.66. And then we know that our perimeter of the base is just circumference. So that's going to be 2 pi r, and our radius is 8. So our perimeter will be 50.24. 50.24, and then times our lateral height, that's what we're trying to look for, plus 2 times the area of our base. Area of the base is just pi r squared. So 64 times pi is all you have to do and plug into the calculator for 200.96. Divided by 2. So we should be looking at this one, and hopefully you're starting to see the problem or why this one is a little bit more complicated. And if you don't, it's because in this problem, we're going to find our lateral height, which, if we look at this picture, is right here. But the question is asking us just to find the height of the cone. So we want to find that. So if you haven't guessed yet, if we know the lateral height and we know the radius, so if we solve this for lateral height and we know what this is, then we'll be able to use Pythag to find the height as the second step. But let's take care of this first. So my first step is either you want to multiply by 2 or just turn this into a proportion and cross multiply. So we'll just multiply the 216.66 times 2 and get 433.32 is equal to 50.24 L. And then I'm just going to multiply those numbers right away. So 2 times 200.96, 401.92. All right, and then we're just solving for that lateral height, so subtract 401.92 from both sides. All right, and when we do that, we get 31.4 is equal to 50.24 L. And if you haven't guessed yet, our lateral height is going to be very, very small. So then we divide by 50.24 on both sides. And we're going to get L is equal to 0.625. So very, very small. But once again, now that we have that information, we can solve this problem. Okay, so with that we're going to put this into Python, right? So we would say 8 squared, let me change the color here just so it's a little bit easier. 8 squared plus our height squared is equal to the 0.625 squared, since our lateral height is our hypotenuse. And hopefully you're seeing an error here. Bonus points if you can figure that out. Bonus points count for nothing anymore, as you well have guessed. And that's that we have right now our hypotenuse, which is smaller than one of our sides. So we have a triangle that looks like this. And obviously that's not possible. So I'm a little confused if the problem's wrong or if it's just I made a mistake somewhere. So for the homework for today, you're going to let me know, did I make a mistake somewhere, or is it just a bad problem? So, but we're going to stop there. That's the process to find height. We don't need to do it, obviously, since there's something going on here, and I'm not going to redo the whole problem. So, hopefully today, right, we can do 2 shapes put on top of each other, find surface area. The really important part is subtracting the bases for that. And then this one, if we're finding the height of a cone or finding a piece of it, then we just need to use our surface area formula, plug everything in, and solve.